Centralia, Pennsylvania, a place you certainly would not want to live because at any point the ground could just open up and swallow you. At this point, we've talked about abandoned towns from places like Russia or Canada, but now we're taking it back to the home turf, the United States of America, and specifically Centralia, Pennsylvania. And this TikTok slideshow that I got tagged in shows the exact location, as well as some town streets, and from a surface perspective, doesn't really look too bad, but once you understand what's going on below the city, you'll realize why it was abandoned. So for some context, Centralia started development back in the 1800s, and initially, it wasn't being used for anything, but eventually a mining company discovered large deposits of coal underground. The first two mines in Centralia opened in the mid-1800s, and from here on out over the next couple of decades, many more mines would be opened, and all of them were ran successfully for quite some time. Up until the early 1900s, coal production in Centralia was booming, but once the Great Depression came and World War I, production slowly started to decrease, and this led to bootleggers going in, extracting the coal that they could, and ruining the mine's structural integrity. Despite this, there were still a couple of mines that were active in the area and producing coal. Bootlegging mining would last up until the 1980s, but in the 1960s, a very large mistake would pave the way for the progressive collapse of this town. One of the old strip mines that had been abandoned was being used as a landfill for the town, and in 1962, the town decided to clean the landfill. Just like they usually do, they just lit a match, tossed it on, and decided to burn the trash. Unlike in previous years, though, the fire department who started this fire failed to fully extinguish it, which allowed some of these coals to get down into the mine and catch the mine on fire, and seeing as the mine is filled with coal, this doesn't seem too hard to do. At first, the effects from this mine fire were not noticed at all, but many years later in 1979, a gas station owner inserted a dipstick into one of his gas tanks and realized that the temperature was exceptionally high. Attention to this issue started to progressively increase, and it boiled over in 1981 when a 12-year-old was nearly swallowed by a sinkhole and saved himself by holding on to a tree root. From this hole, there was hot billowing steam, and after collecting samples, it was determined that there were very lethal levels of carbon monoxide in there, meaning that the entire town was at risk. It was shortly after this that the government offered a relocation program for the residents of Centralia, but shockingly, despite all of the physical evidence and risks of staying in that area, many of the locals were divided as to whether or not they should leave or stay. Eventually, though, over the following decades, as the government usually does, they made the choice for the residents, and they decided to kick pretty much everyone out, with the exception of a few people, offering them money and a safer place to live. The town is, of course, still abandoned today, and the mine fire is expected to burn for at least another 250 years, so people are more than likely not going to be living there anytime soon, at least not in our lifetime or even our children's lifetime. As always, let me know what you guys think about this incident in the comments below. Drop a comment letting me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.